so good. It's an eye roller. It's an eye roller. So glad that I got this. All right, so most humans, if they decide to try out a new brand, try something a little different, they usually maybe grab one item, maybe one that a friend has recommended. I am not most humans, clearly. Welcome to the much anticipated review of the Dua brand. I am excited to share with you my thoughts on the 8 fragrances that I picked up from the brand. This was my very first purchase. I have heard, I would say mixed reviews, honestly mostly positive reviews, but I've heard mixed reviews on this brand. Could I have purchased 1 or 2 to try out, to get a vibe, get a feel? Yes, I could have, but here is the thing. It's a very dangerous site. I'm going to get into that along with all of my thoughts on these scents. I'm going to get into my shopping experience with all of you. It's a very dangerous site, and I am a fragrance nerd. I am someone who absolutely loves all of the yummy smells, so I couldn't help myself. But here is the other thing, and if you are like me, hopefully you find this video helpful, because I am not a foodie. I am not, well, I'm a foodie. I'm totally a foodie. I'm not someone who likes to smell like food. I don't. I really usually do not want to smell like a pastry, like a baked good, like something that I would enjoy ingesting. Not very often. And, you know, a lot of people say that a gourmand is a food, a yummy fragrance. I guess I sort of think of gourmand as, yes, having something that has a little bit of that deliciousness to it, but isn't exactly going to be reminiscent of something that I want to eat. I don't know if that makes any sense, but where I'm going with all of this is that I feel like a lot of the Dua brand is very food-centric scents. They do have a lot of dupes. I think that's what they're most known for, is their dupes. They have definitely branched out into some of their own blends, some of their own designer creations, but they do have a lot of food scents, and that is not something that I usually stray into. That being said, do I have a couple in here that lean into that? Yes, I will give you my thoughts on those. But if you're like me, you've been curious about the brand, but you didn't necessarily want to smell like pancakes drizzled with maple syrup, topped with blueberries and cinnamon sugar icing, then maybe this review will be for you. If that is something that you're into, maybe you'll still find this helpful in knowing how I feel about these scents. So like I said, we're gonna do a dive into all of these scents, how I feel about them, how I felt about shopping with the brand, and all of those things. But if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly, and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist and fragrance fanatic. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. All right, I have been using each of these. I think I got this order a couple weeks ago. So I initially did a first like sniff spray, kind of like sampler vibe, put down my initial thoughts, and then I did take time to wear all of these. Now, as I've mentioned before with a couple other smaller fragrance houses, I do think that it is a good idea to let your scents macerate, or at least know that that will change them over time. You know, with big, huge designer brands, they are putting out mass quantities of these bottles at a time, and most likely they have sat in a warehouse before being shipped to a store, before shipping to you, things like that. So they've had time for the ingredients to mesh, meld, really develop. It's not always the case with these brands, especially if you're buying something new, because I would have a feeling that they create it, maybe they let it macerate for a little while, but then they send it out. I think out of these, I only got 1 or 2 of the newer, now granted, we're gonna get into this in a minute, but since I did this purchase, 2 of these I believe were new at the time. Since then, I think the brand has come out with, honestly, like 12, maybe more than that scents. It's hard to keep up. But I would have a feeling that those bottles are probably newer and will need to macerate for a little longer. But I did try to make sure to let out all of the air, pumped out all the air, let the spray come through a few times, and so they have been sitting, you know, I know it's not exactly like months, but they have gotten to sit for a couple weeks. Now, that being said, I will probably come back to review, or at least kind of refresh my thoughts on how I feel about these, if the scent has changed, if my thoughts have changed down the road. So make sure you're subscribed to check that out. Without further ado, let's dive into this. Okay, so I have heard about this brand. I have seen this brand on Instagram like most of us have. I know that my friend Kara from Beauty and the Frizz, or Frizz and Fragrance, Fragrance and Frizz, I can't remember which she did, but I'll make sure to have her fragrance channel listed down below. She's talked about this brand, and I was like, you know what? This is a pretty good price brand. And then they were having a sale. Now, I didn't realize that this brand actually does have sales fairly often, but I was excited to see the sale that they had, so I decided to jump on it. Went down the rabbit hole very, very clearly. So let's get into my thoughts about the fragrances themselves. And like I said, I'm gonna give you a few of my thoughts on the brand, the shopping experience itself towards the end of the video. There will be chapters so you can bebop around. I'm gonna pull up my order so that I can give you the exact scent notes, my first impressions, and then my impressions after wearing the scent all day. All right, so I'm going to go into the 2 fragrances that I purchased that are in the newer collections. Like I said, I think they've had 2 launches since I purchased these at the beginning of May, but these were the 2 newest that I saw that I decided to get and that were in stock. The brand has, again, dupe fragrances, like sole dupe fragrances. They also do hybrids and tribrids of dupes. They also maybe do like little takes on a dupe. They also have their own blends. So lots and lots of different fragrances. And by the way, as we get into this, I'm sorry, I am a bit under the weather right now, and I just really wanted to get this out for all of you. My sniffer is still okay, but I'm definitely having those allergy vibes. So it's been a lot, but if I seem a little off, that is why. All right, so our first scent is Exotic Vanillac Spring. And this sounded like a risk for me, but a few of the notes sounded like something that I would really enjoy. In here, we have the notes of blackcurrant, raspberry, sweet orange, coconut, peach blossom, Bulgarian rose, orchid, jasmine sambac, bourbon vanilla, cedar, musk, honey, and benzoin. And they describe it as unisex. Now, let me pull up my initial notes here. So my initial notes, like just spraying it on a tester and smelling it that very first day of the shipment, because you know that I had to dig into this right away when the box came. I put warm, creamy, and fruity, coconut, peach, honey, vanilla, fun, but not too youthful. And that's one thing for me. You know, I'm 42. I definitely don't want to smell like I'm wearing an old school designer fragrance that like is heavy, cloying, outdated, but I also don't want to smell like I'm 14 and getting my first body spray. I gotta find somewhere in the middle. I have a wide variety of scents that I like, but I need to be somewhere in that middle range. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want anything that's like too immature smelling. And I think that this hits a good middle of the road. So I definitely get peach. And the thing about this that I appreciate is that it doesn't smell like a gummy candy. It doesn't smell like a fruity cocktail. The peach that I get is actually like the warm peach pit. You know what I mean? Like that slightly earthy peach pit kind of smell. I definitely get the coconut. I don't really get many florals in this, which is okay. I get a creaminess. I mean, it's blended in there enough to where it's not just like fruit cocktail, you know what I mean? But I don't get a lot of floral from this. So my notes from the day that I wore this, now I did get a decent amount of longevity out of it. I would say probably like 5 or 6 hours. And for something that's this light and fruity, I think that that's pretty good, you know? I said that it was like a creamy smoothie, and I put Lifesaver swirl candies, and I looked it up, and it's the Lifesaver the cream savers, I guess. I'm gonna put a picture of them here. That's definitely what I get. It's not too sweet, which I don't like anything that is like cotton candy, sticky sweet. I like a boozy, a deep, a honey vibe, but I don't like anything that's like icky, sticky, overly saccharine. And sometimes fruity fragrances can go that way. You know, they just get a little bit too much. I think the creaminess of this, whether it is coming from the coconut, the vanilla, you know, you do have a bit of that honey in here. It's It's softening that fruit cocktail vibe. I could see mixing this. Like this would actually be really nice to layer with just a plain vanilla just to get a little bit more creamy note out of it. You could layer it with more coconut. It's a fun one. I don't know. It's definitely unique. It's definitely unique to my collection. The fruits that I have are more crisp. This is softer, creamier. Now, this is $33. And I have to say, some of the body sprays out there are getting up into the 20s. They're getting up into the 20s. You know, higher end brands are even into the 30s for a frickin' body spray that's gonna last you maybe 2 hours. This I definitely got more longevity out of. It's a little bit more grown up than a body spray, but it gives you some of those fresh vibes. This could be a pretty easy reach. If you like fruity, if you like something a little creamy, it's not overpowering. So this is a good one. And again, $33 at full price. When the brand does have a sale, you can get a really great deal. I did actually decide to reach out and see if I could get a discount code. So I do have the code KEEPBEAUTYREAL, which will save you 15% in case you're shopping when there isn't a sale. That way you can still get a decent discount on these scents. I will have all the information, my affiliate link down below, and also if you do use that code, I do earn credit off of that as well. So that being said, I'm going to give you all of my honest thoughts because I definitely have some other thoughts coming up. Okay, so that one for me, I mean, if I had to give it a 1 out of 10, I would say it's like a 6. I would say it's a 6. I knew it was going to be a gamble. I knew it was going to be something that was going to be very different than what I usually reach for, but that was the thing. I'm willing to gamble on $33. I don't know that I would do it on like $93. Heck, I probably wouldn't even do it for 50 bucks. And again, I did do this when I think it was 33% off. So that was a good deal. It'll definitely be something that I will layer. I probably won't choose to wear it on its own. That was a long review. We're gonna have to like speed this up a little bit. Okay, I think we can do that on this next one. This is chocolate wafers and coffee. Like I said, I'm not usually a foodie, but what I am is a coffee-y. I don't think that's a thing. I love a good coffee note in a fragrance. I do know that this brand has many of them. I only got one in this set here, but this was one of the newer ones, I believe. I kind of got confused after a while, but I believe this is one of the newer ones. Now the notes in this one are almond, coffee, chocolate, cream, biscuit, dried fruit, vanilla, macadamia nuts, tonka bean, and benzoin. Now this one is listed in the gourmand section. I'm sorry I didn't see what the exotic vanilla spring is listed in, but this one, the thing that I love about this is while it is chocolate, while it is coffee, also, the other notes that I was really excited about are the almond, the vanilla bean, the macadamia nuts. Like, all of those things are things that I like. This isn't super sweet. I love that. I don't want something that smells like chocolate syrup. I don't want something that smells like chocolate or coffee candy. You know, that like overly artificial vibe. I wouldn't want to smell like that. I wouldn't want to smell like that. I can appreciate that smell, like in a candle, or I even have a lip balm that I like, but I just don't personally want someone to smell me and think, chocolate syrup, or like coffee flavored something. I don't want that. This is drier. It's really like that dry cocoa with the nuttiness. Like I could see taking almonds. I get a little bit of the macadamia. I definitely get a lot of the almond. I could see taking like almonds, a couple macadamia nuts, some cocoa powder, and like grinding it up in a mortar and pestle and then smelling that. That is what I get from this, maybe with a bit of vanilla drizzled in there. Yeah, it's a pretty nice one. It's not, if you like a sweet gourmand, I don't know that this is gonna do it for you. What I said in the initial, I'm totally getting ahead of myself here, but the initial thoughts were dry cocoa and coffee at the beginning, then the dried fruits and the almond. Not too sweet, but definitely a dark sweet. Good to layer. And that was the one thing I do feel like in this one, you get more of that dried fruit at the end. Like, yeah, I remember now. I'm glad that I took notes because I remember now after wearing it, the initial cocoa vibe sort of goes away. You're left with that almost apricot, deep, rich, almost raisiny kind of vibe. But again, it's not super sticky sweet. If you're like, ugh, most chocolate scents are too sweet for me, most nutty scents are too sweet for me, this might be a good one to try. Didn't have it labeled out. This one might be a good one to try. And it's definitely a unique one in my collection again. And this again, by the way, is one of the designer lines, so it's $33. I'm gonna have a lot of fun playing with this one. You know, I think it's gonna add a really nice, rich, cocoa-y note, a rich, nutty note to things. I like it. Again, is it something that I would wear on its own? Probably not. It also, I mean, we're heading into the deep part of summer here. This isn't gonna be one that I'm pulling out again until fall, which makes me kind of excited to see if it develops at all before then, because I could definitely see having a lot of fun playing with this one. Let's talk about Smoked Princeless Princess Cherry. You can probably guess from a lot of the words in that, if you are a fragrance nerd like me, this is a hybrid of Cherry Smoke from Tom Ford and I Don't Need a Prince by My Side to Be a Princess by Kilian. Now, I have smelled both Cherry Smoke and also Princess from Kilian. I know a lot of people love Princess. They love it. I like it. I don't know that it's necessarily something that I need in my life, but I thought this would be a great way to try out a fun little hybrid here. I know that my friend Kara is all about the cherry scents and she says she really likes this one. I actually think she likes Princess as well. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get this one. What was the price on this one? The price at full price is $60, which again, for a 36 milliliter bottle, that's not too bad. This is listed as an amber vanilla and the notes are lemon, green tea, ginger, peach, sour cherry, leather, saffron, olive, osmanthus, apricot, smoke, cypriol, hedione, apple, jasmine, marshmallow, vanilla, woodsy notes, and benzoin. Wow, that's a lot. I'm gonna start off by saying leather for me, 75% of the times is a turnoff. There are times where it is done right that I like it, but most of the time I'm like, I don't really feel the need to smell like a saddle or smell like furniture. It's just not my vibe. What did I say for this one when I first smelled it? Hold on, I gotta find it. Okay, not what I expected. That's what I put first. Lemon at the front, then sour cherry and leather. Woodsy and lightly floral, sort of gives me scented doll vibes. Now I said, this is unique for me, weird in a good way. And that's just it. There's something about this that it does it right. You know, I don't know if it's the cherry and the leather combined. I'm not quite sure. It's odd. And in fact, I told Kara, because she was like, what are you thinking of your duo? And I was like, well, this one makes me think of scented dolls. Like, you know, I'm a child of the 80s, right? I remember the toys that smelled like things, whether it was My Little Ponies, Strawberry Shortcake, those types of things. At first, this gives me that feel. And I think it's the fact that the leather leans a little bit plasticky, but it softens down almost right away. It's very unique. It's very lovely. It's soft. It's not cough syrup cherry. It's not too leathery. It's a little bit powdery, which isn't usually my vibe, but it's done in a very nice blend. I'm glad I got this. You know, it's definitely one that is going to be a vibe for me. I really think that this for me is a good cozy up at night, kind of like, I don't know, it's sexy but soft at the same time. You have to like cherry, you have to like that sort of plasticky thing that can come from leather, but it's done in such a right way. All right, so after talking about that cherry scent, let's talk about the other cherry scent that I got. I honestly, I don't think of cherry as a note that I normally reach for, like ever, but in doing my duo research, I came across a video and I cannot remember, it was actually two lovely women on one woman's channel, but they were talking about their duo favorites and they mentioned cherry hookah. And I was like, okay. And this is inspired by Vice Balm by Simone Andreoli. I have not smelled Vice Balm ever, but the description sounded really interesting. When I was watching the two creators chat about this, at least one of them, if not both of them, said that they prefer this scent, Cherry Hookah, over the scent that it's inspired by. And this is inspired by Vice Balm by Simone Andreoli. I have not smelled Vice Balm. This smells very different than the one that Kara sent to me. It's a very different kind of cherry vibe. The notes of this are dark cherry, red fruits, salty caramel, vanilla cream, pink sugar, lang lang, precious woods, tonka beans, and amber. So what were my initial thoughts? Dark cherry fruit, and I get the saltiness of the caramel and the creamy vanilla. Sexy but fun, but too much for work. Meaning, like, you know, as a hairdresser, I try not to wear anything that's like ba-bam in your face because I'm so close to people. I have to say, I really like this. There's something so sexy about this. And what I said after wearing it is that it started off like a deep cherry, but dried down very soft and creamy, and that it wasn't actually too strong. I do think this is more of a spring. I could see doing it in the spring, like spring, winter, fall, probably not in the dead of summer, but it definitely has that like richness. You do get that creaminess, the little bit of saltiness at the beginning that sort of like takes the edge off the tart cherry. It's really fun. It's really a fun one. Again, very sexy. I think that this is like modern woman badass sexy. This one is a little bit more like lighthearted girl next door sexy without like exuding sex appeal, if that makes sense. They're both good in their own way. All right, so right here, smack dab in the middle of this review, let's talk about my least favorite scent out of what I picked out. I knew this was gonna be a bit of a risk. Some of the notes sounded very interesting. Some sounded like they might be a challenge. However, this is another $33 one. I was like, it might be something that you really love. It might be something that you wanna layer with things. I just couldn't help it because I love a good tobacco fragrance. This is Smoky Cubic Tabac. This might actually be one of the newer ones as well. Can't remember, I lost track. This is inspired by Cuban tobacco by Algahabra Perfumes. Again, a scent I've never tried. It's classified as an oriental tobacco. They say the notes are mandarin orange, vanilla, mojito, jasmine, plum wine, smoke, tobacco blossom, woody notes, and salt. The only thing in here that I was worried about was mojito, because to me, mint can be very off-putting. It can smell like cleaning products on me. Like a lot of citruses and mint are usually not things that I really go for. But the rest of the notes sounded very interesting. Here is what I thought off of the get-go. Zesty and brighter than most tobacco scents, which I would agree. Salty, incense, maybe a bit of menthol or Alka-Seltzer. You know what I mean? Like that effervescent, yeah. And I think it's that mint. And I said I'll have to try it layered, but that I would love it on Jeremy. I have not had Jeremy try this one yet. It's going to be going to him. I couldn't. What I wrote after wearing it is that it dried down more powdery than I like, but that it might be a good bedtime fragrance. Again, I don't really like powdery scents. It's just not my vibe. It's weird because it starts off, it's more, I don't even want to say it's more masculine than I like to wear, but there's just something off to me. Not that it's like bad. It's just, I don't know. I'm not loving it. Maybe it's a little smoky. I mean, it says smoke in here. I don't usually mind a little bit of that, but maybe that's it. Maybe it's a little, I don't know, nothing in here. Like, I love a good woody note. Plum wine sounds great. The mandarin orange, the vanilla. It's got to be the mojito. It's got to be the mojito. I just don't understand what is smelling more powdery in this. I don't know what it is, but I think Jeremy's gonna like this one. It's a sweeter scent than some men might like, but Jeremy can get down with that. So I'm gonna give this one to him to try. Since I just mentioned Jeremy, who by the way is my fiance for those of you who are new to this channel. So I picked up another one that was on mega sale and I was like, well, I know I like one of the scents in this blend. I'd never heard of the other one. And I was like, if I don't like this, then maybe Jeremy would. And this is One and Only Jazz Club. Now, you can probably guess that one of the scents in this is Jazz Club from Maison Margiela's replica line. The other scent is the original 2008 formulation by Dolce & Gabbana. Now, this is out of stock right now. I don't know if it's coming back. You know, it was discounted down to $33 from $60, so maybe they were clearancing this one out. I love Jazz Club. I think Jeremy really likes Jazz Club. We have several scents that we both enjoy wearing, so I thought, hey, if he likes this, it might be a good mix, and then I can keep my Jazz Club bottle for myself. I'm not gonna lie. So they say this is a masculine scent and that the classification is a spicy amber. I personally find that any scent can be unisex. You can rock whatever you want, but I'm just reading to you off here. The notes are pink pepper, grapefruit, coriander, basil, neroli, lemon, rum, Java vetiver oil, ginger, cardamom, orange blossom, clary sage, tobacco leaf, amber, cedarwood, vanilla bean, and styrax. A lot of those notes I like. Some of them I don't so much. Some of them I know that Jeremy enjoys. Pink pepper is up there for him. I'm sure coriander he would also really enjoy. Ginger, cardamom, a lot of these things. Tobacco leaf, amber, cedarwood, I mean, yum. At some point within this, I do smell Jazz Club. I also get classic cologne vibes. What did I say here? So my initial notes here were not as much Jazz Club as I would like, citrus and spice, but the dark sweetness of Jazz Club. And I just put a note down to give it to Jeremy. This isn't one that I would really ever want to wear. There's just a little bit too much of that cologne vibe for me. It's very nice. I will tell you, I gave this to him. He really liked it. He said, ooh, I really love the bottle. And oh, it smells great on him. So no regrets because he can wear this and I can enjoy it on him. Now, if you've smelled the one from Dolce & Gabbana, maybe you're like, yeah, Kelly, duh, that is like the cologniest cologne of all time. I hadn't, and for the price, you know, if you think I got 33% off, I got this for 22 bucks. It's a pretty good deal. He's really gonna enjoy it. It smells great on him. Okay, so we're gonna dip back in, and I went from my least favorite. Let's talk about my favorite, shall we? Is this my favorite? Yes, I'm gonna say that this is my favorite. This is Honey Kissed Tobacco. So this scent right here is a dupe for Tobacco Honey from Guerlain. Oh, this smells so good. Okay, so my initial thoughts were spicy and sweet, definitely clove and anise. Now, I also have here, it says enough woods unless to soften. I think what I meant was, it must be a typo, but like, I think I was saying that I don't really get anything woodsy out of this unless it's just to like soften that spice and that honey. I said that it leans into masculine, but that I love it. And that's the truth. Like this is, if you love a good spicy scent, if you love a good sexy tobacco, honey, this is a little bit like Kilian's Back to Black. And I will let you know that the brand does actually have a dupe for that scent. I absolutely love that scent. I'm also gonna let you know right now that I did order that one. I ordered it. I placed another order the other day after trying out all these scents. So that can kind of give you my thoughts on this brand, which is of course why I decided to get a discount code. I mean, I think you can tell from my review of this that I've been pretty happy with these so far. And this one, I was just like, I have to try it. I have to try it. There's something about this. It has more spice than Back to Black. It's just so lovely. It's so lovely and balanced. I do think that now I'm getting a bit of that woodsiness, and maybe it's just because it has been able to macerate for a couple weeks. Here's the thing about this. Now, the brand is known for having some killer longevity to their scents because they are extrait de parfum. So a lot of people get the imitations or the dupes of some of their favorite designer fragrances because they know some of those do not last at all, and the duo ones are a pretty close dead ringer. That's two different things. Pretty close or a dead ringer, but have a lot more longevity. Here's the thing about this one. I put that it was strong, not overly strong, but that it was strong and it lasted all day. When I went to bed that night, so I had applied this fragrance at 7 a.m. and I crawled into bed at midnight. Jeremy said, oh, you smell good, like spicy honey. 7 a.m. to midnight. And he could still smell it on me. And obviously I was wearing like different clothes, so it was just on my skin. And I was like, wow, that's impressive. This is definitely a spray and walk into for me if I'm going to work, but I love this so much that I would absolutely wear this. As it's getting warmer, it's gonna be a no-go. Coming into fall and winter, I'm gonna absolutely love this one. It's so good. Again, this Tobacco Vanille is another one that if you like that scent, you might really like this. It's so good. It's an eye roller. It's an eye roller. So glad that I got this. Oh, by the way, I do want to let you know that this at full price, the Honey Kiss Tobacco, is $55. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Okay, so especially for how long that it lasts and how strong it is. This little bottle right here is going to last me a very long time. Okay, so let's get into the last scent. This one is one that I was so excited for. It was also probably my biggest risk. So here's the thing. When I was in Chicago last summer with my friend Liz and we went to Nars to do a bunch of parfum smelling, the lovely human behind the counter gave me a couple scents that had rice notes. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. I definitely get the rice. I get the rice. I think I want a scent that has rice. So I have been on the hunt for one that gives me the vibes of the ones that I smelled. I don't know if I still have the pictures on my phone. Maybe I could go back through. Both of those scents were very expensive. They were very expensive. So I have not picked those up. They were also quite strong, but I've been looking for that vibe, you know, that ricey vibe. I don't know what to tell you. So when I saw this creamy rice pudding, I was like, okay, Kelly, this could be it. This could be the one. Or it could also be so foodie that it just grosses you out. Let me give you the notes. All right, so the brand says that this is a gourmand, obviously. They say that it's sugar, milk, rice, raisins, vanilla milk, and nutmeg. This is $60 at full price. It's funny because I feel like this one has already changed a little bit since first getting it. I'm going to be really interested to bring this one back out this fall. Okay, so my initial thoughts were that it's sweet and lactonic and that you get a deep sweetness from the raisin. I would say that that is very true. I also would say that if you like commodity milk, you want something that has less of the like spicy note of that. Like I feel like commodity milk, I've always said that to me, it smells like Cinnamon Toast Crunch milk. If you want something that's maybe less spicy than that, but deeper, more like caramelized fruit, this would be it. This is definitely going to be a fall and winter scent. This is as far into foodie smelling that I will go. It's very molassesy almost. It really is like, I get the color of amber, the color of butterscotch pudding when I smell this. I get that raisiny vibe. I also get the lactonic vibe from it. Do I get the rice? Yeah. This is maybe a little bit sweeter. I think that and when I say sweet, I don't mean candy. I mean like caramelized, really, really rich, dark sweet. I get that more than the rice. I feel like this isn't quite as light and ricey as I would like. It's still delicious. I can definitely see, you know, like a spritz of this to go along with something else. This has a lot of longevity too. It has a lot of longevity. I do feel like it got less cloyingly sweet and a little bit softer on the skin, but it definitely, and I don't mean cloyingly sweet bad, it got less sweet. This was a stretch for me. These are the times that I was like, ugh. At the time that I purchased, I don't think that Dua had their solos in stock, which are their 10 ml samplers, if you will, or like travel sizes. They do have some in now. I will let you know that the Dua order that I did is another fairly big one, but some of them I just decided to get the small sizes. I was like, you know what? Just get the travel sizes. My Lord, Kelly, you already have so many scents. I mean, these alone would last me a very long time. They would last me a very long time. So I did decide to get some of those solos, as they call them, the travel sizes. I think I'm going to enjoy doing that. Did I get another ricey one or a milky one? I think I got some sort of milky something or other. But at any rate, so out of all of these, I really think there was just one miss for me, and that is this Smoky Cuba Tabac. That being said, this is going to smell great on Jeremy, and for the price, that's not a big deal. The creamy rice pudding, again, is going to be one to pull out in the fall, and I'll mix it with other things. It's different. It's definitely different than anything else I have, so if I want to add a richness, layering, this is going to be fun to play with. Other than that, I really like all of these. I mean, Honey Kiss Tobacco, for me, steals the entire show. I would have to say after that is probably Cherry Hookah. Chocolate Wafers and Coffee and Smoked Princeless Princess Cherry are so unique to what I have that I think that these would come in next, just because the vibe of Exotic Vanillac Spring isn't something that I reach for a lot. I think that would be next after that. And you know, the hybrid of Jazz Club and the One, I'm not even going to count that because I knew that chances were that Jeremy would probably like this, so I'm not including it there. So, you know, really, Jeremy gets spoiled and he gets to have 2 of these. That's great. I love a good smelling man. That's just my vibe, so it's a win-win. The creamy rice pudding I knew was going to be a stretch, but I would rather stretch out on a limb on something that's a lower cost than something that's very high end, and the rest of these I'm very happy with. So that's the review. Okay, so here's the thing about my purchase. I have to say, I felt like everything came pretty quickly, not like overly fast, but it wasn't, you know, like a month, like sometimes things can be. I was a little surprised that all of the scents came in like little velveteen bags, which I have somewhere. I don't know where they went. The person in me that wants minimal packaging is cool with that. It does lessen the experience a little bit compared to a box of some sort. I know that at one point the brand did do boxes. I also get at some point, you know, if you're gonna have quality items and you're looking to keep down the cost, the packaging is one way to do that. Like, I mean, if you think about like Chanel and some of these where they come in boxes with ribbons, with more boxes, labels, I don't know, sprinkles, sparkles, whatever, that all adds up. That's a lot of why those things are so expensive. So I'm willing to give that up, especially since I don't save the boxes. Now the packaging itself, I actually really like this. It's a nice glass bottle. I really like the cap. I like this wooden cap. I think it's cool how they do the little like wood burning through the top. I don't know if that's wood burned. It looks like maybe it's like been, whatever, you know what I'm saying. The labels on some of these, they get a little bit hokey. I don't know. Like a lot of these, and maybe they're changing it up over time. Maybe this is one that's older, but these little like food pictures, I'm like, I'm not so much about that. I'd rather have something like this where it's like, I don't know, more of an image, even something that's just simple. Like just give me a simple label. Some of these, they got a little bit hokey, but most of the newer ones I don't feel like really did that. Like the Cherry Hookah, I think that's okay. Again, we're just nitpicking here, but I do like the bottles themselves. The site, y'all, I mean, I don't even know how many scents that this brand has. It's a lot. It is a lot, and it's overwhelming. So I think that the best way to go about this is to search by an inspired scent. If you are specifically looking for a specific scent, search by that scent. If it's been duped by them, if they've done an inspired by, it will come up. I think also you can search by like scent classification. So if you're looking for gourmands, if you're looking, you know, for like a citrus, something like that. Also, you can type in a note. I actually did that because I was like, ooh, I kind of want something apple. And I did that and then it brought up things that had apple in it. So I think you will get very, very overwhelmed if you just start scrolling through all hundreds of scents that they have. Now, with that being said, there are so many scents, but like a lot of them are out of stock, which is a little bit irritating. And I think what I don't really love is that they keep launching more new. And it's sort of like, grab them while you can, you know? And I'm telling you, these sell out very fast. The new releases sell out pretty fast. But it's like, I don't really know how long it takes for them to restock other items. And I'm not sure, I would love it if they would like send out like a little, like if you sign up for the emails, hey, we're restocking X on this day. I have seen other fragrance brands, like niche fragrance brands or, you know, smaller companies who do that to their email list. Like, hey, you know, we're going to have this coming back in stock. I would love to see that. There are a few scents that are in my wish list that have been sold out. For instance, they have an Acro Bake dupe that I've really wanted to try because I like that scent, but it didn't really last that long, and I don't feel like spending full price for a lemony scent that I probably wouldn't wear all the time. So I'm gonna keep my eye out. Now, obviously, I went and purchased again because I had such a good experience with these. I decided to get a couple dupes, a couple more like unique blends, but again, also the little single ones in some that I was like, how often would I wear this? It sounds really fun, but is it going to be a mainstay? I'm not so sure. So let me know if you'd like to see another review. Clearly I've been having fun with this. Dangerously having fun with it. And I would love to know what your thoughts are. If you have a fragrance from the brand that you absolutely love. Honestly, if you have one that you absolutely loathe, that's also as helpful to our community here. So please let me know in the comments. Again, I will have links to the brand. I will have my discount code, and if there is currently a sale, I will also put those details in along with my affiliate link. If you do shop through that, I will earn a commission, even if you're using one of the other sale codes. I appreciate you all so much. You know that I have fun talking about fragrance with all of you. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you really soon.